Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Saturday Chat.
Sunday chat. Sunday shout-out chat
Sunday
ahead of time.
Yeah, because we're time travelers.
Where we tell you about what we're going to do tomorrow.
Today. But we recorded on a different day, so it's today.
And depending on when you're listening.
Tomorrow.
And depending on when they listen, it could be anytime.
Anytime.
Weird.
Welcome.
Time travelers from the future.
You think about it, from the past.
From the past.
To you in the future. So
this week,
we're tackling Coldplay.
Another piano song.
Yeah, let's go piano. Dave, this series is called Dave Does Piano Songs on Guitar.
Right. So, I was thinking that this was the first Coldplay song we've done.
It was not.
It was not the first Coldplay song.
I think we've done them in the order of how I heard them.
In the order of their hits.
No, the order that I heard them in. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was Yellow.
Yellow.
So if you haven't heard that and you want to hear it, you can go check that out.
Which was a song that you actually did not enjoy when you first heard it.
I never liked that song when it came out. And probably part of the reason I feel the way I do about Coldplay.
Because of Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about that song that just... Was it played too much on the radio? I don't like the way he sang
the word yellow.
Oh.
And it's like every 5 minutes in that song. I mean,
it is a lot.
I'm sorry, like every 5 minutes song's over, but every 5 seconds it seems like he says
there was a lot of YPMs.
I wouldn't even pay attention to the rest of the lyrics because it irritated me so much.
What about just the way that he said it? Is it because he has a British accent? Maybe. Or the... Okay.
I
really enjoyed it.
I'm sure there's plenty of things people don't like about me, so... I'm just going to go and say it. To me, like this, my mind, I don't think I've ever said it out loud. I've always thought that Coldplay was U2 light. And I would already consider U2 to be like a light kind of band.
I gotta say, I think that Chris Martin, who's the lead vocalist for Coldplay, I think his vocal range is very different and how his approach to the songs is different from U2. And I like U2. Yeah. I like U2 a lot. I like Coldplay, but I have neglected being a listener, being a Coldplayer because I knew that you did not enjoy.
to be fair, I do have a respect for them now that I haven't had. I think that
comes with longevity, though.
This song, though, as far as arranging it for guitar, presented a whole world of problems.
It was fun watching you arrange it.
It's so repetitive, for one. And really, the whole making of the song is dynamics.
It is. When you listen
to the piano riff.
Yes.
So it's two things that are really hard to recreate because, one, you have a repetitive piano riff that, is very...
iconic.
It's iconic.
It's one of their signature
and it
riffs.
Is syncopated throughout a majority of the song. And then they use other parts to build behind it. So I had to get creative. And I'm not 100% happy with how it was arranged and I performed it. But
Are you ever?
I mean...
What's the percentage? You're not 100%. What are you like?
82%.
That's a passing grade.
I'm 82%
That's like a B.
Happy with it.
Yeah, you're pretty good. Yeah, I'm really happy with it, especially considering that when you listen to the Coldplay band version, like the full plugged-in electric sound, it's
stadium rock at its finest.
Yeah,
right?
well, I mean, it goes from this minimalist, just that iconic riff on the piano to everybody is just pumping along, and it's just like pumping along. I don't know how else to say it, and everybody is.
So knowing that going in, I knew we weren't going to meet that intensity because, it is one song that I
hugely
probably avoided for a little while because I know that it's like is meant to be performed in a stadium,
right?
Right,
with all the lights and everything.
Everything's kind of being performed minimally, but together it's epic, right?
That's how we. This is what we do with the Sunday shout out, though. We take a song that may be a stadium epic song
and we figure out how to torture me.
No.
So
you chose this song.
All I have to do is say a song, and if you latch onto it, then somehow I chose it. Like, so I could be like, yeah. But if I say a Led Zeppelin song, it doesn't get latched onto as quickly.
He's so hard to sing.
So, and people love it when you sing Led Zeppelin, though. So the challenge was real, and
I think you did great.
a couple things.
I'm pleased with
Not
it.
to give too much away, but a couple things we did is we dialed the tempo back just a notch. Not much, not extremely far back.
Just so I can breathe.
Which I did consider, well, mainly so I could do more things in a shorter period of time to fill up space and add dynamics.
Right.
And I would say that it's no more than 5% slower than the original, which is a pretty brilliant pace that it's going at. And then,
well, part of the reason I was reading on part of the reason that the tempo is what it is because of the theme of the song, Clocks.
Urgency.
It's an urgency, and it's about the limited time that we have to live our lives as humans and making the most of it.
So interestingly enough, and I don't know how many songs that this would apply to, I thought this was very interesting. It was written for their third album, but appeared on their second album. Did you understand this?
No, I didn't get that.
So
my research, my rabbit holes went a
working on their
different
third
way.
album. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sorry. They were completing their second album. They were in the studio. Chris Martin came in. He had this idea. He took it down, and he had the piano riff. He recorded it, and he recorded, a demo of it. And they were in the process of finishing up their third album. The second album, sorry. So I feel like it's like this might be the holy hand grenade of Antioch, and I can't say second. I keep saying third. So
5 is right out.
So they leave the studio and they're listening back to the album, and Chris Martin and the band kind of felt like the album was rubbish, and they delayed the release.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't really happy with it overall. And one of the producers, I believe, heard the song, and he's like, dude, like, Chris, like, shelving this song, and the song's about urgency, and you're shelving it. It's like counter to the thing of the song. So they ended up finishing out the song and putting it on the second album.
Well, good on that producer for calling that out.
Interesting, right?
That's what producers are for, though, to help make some of those hard decisions because we as artists, we get caught up in the weeds sometimes. It's hard to see the forest for the trees, so to speak, and you're in the thick of it. You're in the middle of your artistry and creating. It's hard to see the finished thing sometime without popping your head out of your artistry.
Yeah. I just thought it was really cool that a song written for a third album appeared on a second album. I thought that was neat. Not something that probably usually happens.
We have a song from our first album on our second album, just on the vinyl, though.
We have songs that we probably wrote for albums that never made it into later albums, which I think is very much more common. Mm-hmm. So that was cool, though. So as far as my feelings on Coldplay now, I still kind of feel the same way.
Be gentle. Wow.
I don't dislike them, though. I mean, I think there's a place for it. Like, it's kind of like, I like all styles of music, and I like most artists, you know, and even songs that are, the barroom staples that people want to hear and they think it's a joke, like Freebird or Sweet Home Alabama.
Right. It's a good song for a reason.
I still like those songs.
Yeah.
I just don't want to perform them because I played them so much, and I don't want to waste 13 minutes of my life playing Freebird.
There's also something to be said for having overindulged in its play on the radio.
I mean, you say that, but people don't seem to think so.
People do seem to think so, but I don't think that they know how to rectify the situation.
I would say this. I think that the people that really love music and absorb themselves in all types of music don't realize how special that is and how few and far between other people like them are. I think that they assume that everybody should be like that. Everybody, so an average casual listener that is in and out of a bar and living their daily life that's not a music fan, they may only know a couple hundred songs, whereas, we know thousands and thousands. To me, listening to a song 100 times, I mean, I don't even know. Like, that seems like I've worn it out. But to other people, they've probably listened to the same song
Well, I know, for instance, when I was at a job that they had the radio on, it wasn't Muzak, it wasn't a retail job, but there was a music going in my workplace over the radio. It was twice a day, every single day, and not disparaging the song or the artist, but it was Stevie Nicks' White Winged Dove, twice a day, every day, like clockwork. And you could hear people call up and ask for a Fleetwood Mac or a Stevie Nicks song, and they would just play that once. It's like that's the only one that they had. You remember when you first had iTunes and they gave you like free downloads of certain artists, and you had one from this artist and you had one from that artist and one from this, and if you put it on shuffle you just got those one song of those artists. It's like the radio station did the same thing. They chose White Winged Dove as their free download, and they played it.
I can't focus
twice
with
a day,
you
every
calling
day.
it by the wrong title. I'm sorry.
What is it?
I believe the name of the song is Edge of 17.
Really? Okay, it's just like a white winged dove. That's I never even endeavored to learn what it was, because it was over and over and over.
Song was played.
And I love Stevie Nicks. I love Fleetwood. I love their work together.
I've had my on and off appreciation of Stevie
But it
Nicks.
was other songs. I'm just pulling that one by whatever title you want to call it out of the hat, because it was one of the ones that it literally elicited a groan from the people in my area every time it came on, and it became a joke that, oh, it's 1:20, it's time for that song again. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that there is
for sure
that arena of...
Well, especially if it's not your jam, right? But like, here's the thing. Like,
but it was my jam. It was just too much jam, not enough toast.
Yeah, I guess that could be a thing. You know, I know there's a song, even when I was pretty young when it came out, but the song by Jefferson Starship, "We Built This City on Rock and Roll." It was like, I remember that being the song that was the first song that I probably went through the phases of, didn't know what it was, got slightly interested, started to like
enjoyed
the song,
it,
fell in love with the song, wanted to hear it all the time.
Never want to hear it again in your life.
I could never hear it again the rest of my entire life.
Well, it does eventually come back around, though, if you go long enough not hearing it. Then when you hear it again, it becomes like an old friend. You don't want to hang out every day like you used to, but it's
different types of songs.
Nice.
That like, so a song like that where it was an earworm, no thanks. I don't need to hear it again.
Yeah.
It was just an earworm. But there are other songs that like maybe I burnt out personally because I liked it so much.
Right on,
you know,
okay.
that like I hear it again and I'm like, wow, that's a great song.
I could say that about the entire They Might Be Giants self-titled, like They Might Be Giants.
I could say that
album.
about a lot of
I
Ray
listened to the whole
LaMontagne
thing.
songs where I'll just listen to it over and over again.
Yeah, I don't know that I have worn those out though.
I'll tell you this, like, so the Ray LaMontagne, God Willing the Creek Don't Rise.
Love it.
The opening lift with the
Are you talking about the album or the song?
The song with the floor tom where he hits and there's so much reverb on it. Do 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 do, and he hits the floor tom.
Yeah.
And it has that tons of reverb on it. And then there's a steel guitar lick behind it where like it pierces like that part of your back of your neck where all the hair stands up. Mm-hmm. And like I've literally played it in the house like so loud on the turntable that I'm surprised that the record didn't jump out of the groove.
Nice.
Because the way the sound waves, the feel of it through your body with the floor tom hitting and the steel guitar cutting. It's just like, oh.
So tell me this. All right. So have you listened to... We're talking about over indulging in a favorite song, not an earworm, a favorite song. Have you listened to a song or a grouping of songs that by all rights you should be sick and tired of, but you could listen again and again still?
Probably this song I was just talking about.
God Willing the Creek Don't Rise. Any others?
Yeah. A lot of Government Mule, like the Banks of the Deep End, Beautifully Broken, Mule. Thorazine Shuffle, like Bad Little Doggy, you know, a lot of the songs that I've just listened to so much by Those guys, Allman Brothers, Live at Fillmore East is a album that probably I should never need to listen to again, but I still do.
Right.
And you could also probably say that about like Europe 72 by the
Fair amount of Grateful Dead, yeah.
Van Morrison's Moondance is another album that it's weird that so one of the hits off that album was Moondance. Well, I guess it wasn't as big as some of his other songs, but it also is one of the songs I got burnt out on the most quickly on that album.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which is weird because now
Did
it's
it have a lot of radio play? Were you getting oh my goodness. Okay. Hey friends, go to SugarLimeBlue.com right now to get your hat and t-shirt and our new Roots guitar logo. See you there.
Let me ask you this. On an album, have you fallen in love with an album where you've played it just so many times? You said The Might Be Giants.
Yeah.
So on that album, let me ask you this. You have a song in the beginning that might be your favorite. Do you rotate through the songs, then another song becomes your favorite, then another song becomes your favorite? And I'll give my example. So when I first started listening to Van Morrison's Moondance, Moondance was a big song. I really liked it. And then it stoned me.
Right.
And then it was Into the Mystic. And then it was Caravan.
Like the song that you're looking forward to hearing on that
when
album.
It comes on, it's like, yeah, this song,
Okay, so I have several albums that part of the way I like to listen to a new album, whether it's CD, LP, whatever, cassette tape back in the day, is to listen to the entire thing and just keep listening over and over again,
an album listener for sure.
And create a relationship with the entirety of the album, as opposed to just skipping ahead to one song or whatever. So I could say the short answer to your question is yes, but I have several albums that I have enjoyed. Grantley Phillips, Virginia Creeper, I think is one of them, and Bob Dylan's Desire, one of the best albums of all time in my opinion. I think the live Deepest End from Government Mule, that's a two CD thing, like listening to those like back to back to back. Yes, I have gone through I think for me, it's more a matter of getting familiar with something. Some things, there are some songs, and it's very rare, and you've seen it when it's happened. Grantley Phillips, for instance.
Mona Lisa.
He was the troubadour on Gilmore Girls, which we binge watched. And we were watching this scene. Neither of us were watching. We were listening to the show. And he started singing this Mona Lisa song. I'm like, what is this? And you looked up at it exactly the same time. And you're like, what is this song? And we're like, okay, we were well into the show at this juncture.
It's another song where the musicianship fits the production of the song so perfectly.
So good. It was so good. And it fit into the moment in the show. And everything was it was perfection in that moment. And both of us stopped what we were doing and took stock of what was happening. And I think it was right then you got on the internet and just ordered us that album.
Yeah,
you said, we need more of I need to hear the song again. So then I started listening to it over and over and over again. It was the soundtrack of our mornings for months, I think, because I just had it going in the kitchen in the morning. So I would only get up through a certain amount of songs because it takes about 5 or 6 songs to fry an egg and make some toast and cook some hot coffee, right? So up through the 5 songs. However, if I were making dinner or something, we could pass the 5 songs. And so I started creating a relationship with those other songs at the end, which I grew an affinity for as well. Sure. But it was the one that hooked me into the whole listening. So that's the long answer.
It's great how that happens. And it's funny how like just one song can pull you into an artist's whole catalog. Somebody that maybe you didn't like before, or didn't know about. For instance, with this song, it's like, I mean, I just missed Coldplay for years because of Yellow. Never really liked them. And then I heard this song, which I didn't mind. I kind of liked it. And then, it's it's definitely a pop hit. I mean, it's in the
For sure.
some people.
They're not trying to be something they're not, though.
Yeah,
they're artists for their
it's ranked
own right. Yeah,
Rolling Stone top 500 of all time and all that stuff. You know,
it's good on
but
them.
but it made me listen to like a few other songs and be like, okay, like what is this? What's this band about? You know,
Yeah.
Even though I haven't grown like an affinity for them, it's interesting how one or two songs can be a gateway and bam, then you're hooked
It
into
is.
doing
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. So on the other side of that coin, like because Yellow was a turnoff for you to begin with because of the way that he made words, right? So do you have any other artists that you've similarly classed that maybe you've come around to?
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
that I've come around to, no.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. There.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I have other artists that I've still not listened to, like Styx, because of "Come Sail Away," which a lot of people say it's their worst song, but it was a very big hit.
All I can think of is South Park and Cartman not being able to, like, if you mention the song, he's got to sing the entire thing, so he sings the whole thing.
I have an affinity against that song.
That's not how that word is used in grammar. You have a loathing.
I have
for
a
that.
loathing.
Loathing.
I have a deep loathing for that song.
What is it
can't help
about that
It's
song?
Like,
It's a
and the
good
funny
song.
thing is, I just said that like how most songs don't really bother me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know what that one? Just something about it.
I don't like. There's two things about that song that I don't like. That drive me up a tree and make me want to turn it off in the first 30 seconds.
Okay. Because it is, I've witnessed this. It is within the first couple of
piano
measures.
part, ding, 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 like it is a very classical riff on the piano that reminds me a little bit of like a Beethoven rondo thing. But it's so whimsical and weird to me. Like,
That's what I like about it.
and then he comes in with his voice. It's like the whole song. It's not like his voice is nails on a chalkboard. The whole song is just nails on a chalkboard to me.
So I've recently, in the last couple of years, have come across this term, especially for neurospicy people, where you find a sound or a song, something that it just feels good in your soul, and people will call that itching the brain in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got an itch in the brain and it itches the right part of the brain. So this is perhaps just the antithesis of that.
It's so bad that like just talking about it is it's made me tense because like I can so vividly
So sorry.
recall the sound of the piano in his vocal.
See, I don't even recall the introduction. It's just the chorus for
when
me.
he starts singing and the piano playing. It's just making me tense right now.
Okay, so
It's giving me a visceral reaction.
So talking about really things that are super memorable, like bits and riffs, and also seem like they're different. Like somebody took chapters off of different books and put them together in one book, right? Because that's kind of how you feel about it. It's a little whimsy, a little like disjointedness, sort of doesn't go together. How do you feel about Bohemian Rhapsody?
I love it.
Okay, so what? A-B those for me here.
Bohemian Rhapsody is a masterpiece.
Okay, I agree.
By one of the greatest vocalists and bands of all times.
Okay. But it has some of those same characteristics that you outlined that you didn't like. Is it maybe key or like production? Maybe like just word enunciation? What you still tense over there. All right.
Don't make me
Okay.
talk about this song anymore.
Okay, we're gonna shift
right.
gears here. It's almost Christmas time, you guys.
And we're going to ask you in the comments.
Yes.
What are the songs that make the hair on your neck stand up in a good way and in a bad way? One each.
All right,
One
one each.
Because I know everybody has songs they dislike.
I'm gonna have to go think about the dislike because it's just like the things that I'm just like, no, I don't want to listen to this at all. That's a fairly short list. I'll play it through. I'll give it a chance to grow on.
And here's the thing, you can't have one without the other, I don't think. Like some people are, if you're doing things right and you're able to cause emotions, you're going to cause bad emotions as well as good emotions. That's why certain people like visual artists and other people can't stand them.
Right.
So it doesn't offend me if anybody puts our music,
I will.
Just make sure you put it for the good stuff.
Yeah, I'd be offended. I will.
So.
I will. I'm going to be honest about
And
it.
we'll see you next week.
Hey, I wasn't done.
Oh.
I wasn't done. It's almost Christmas time, you guys. Visit SugarLimeBlue shop at thesugarlimeblue.com. And we have this. Dave is being our model today for our new hats with what we're calling the Roots guitar.
You know, we have an ad
logo.
for this coming up right after this, right?
Yeah, that's great. But you're wearing it. You're wearing it.
It probably already aired midstream.
Also, we have, well, this is the new stuff, and we're so excited about the new stuff, but we also don't want to leave the older things in the dirt. We do.
We have an old style hat.
Yeah, we have an old style hat. We have
tie-dye t-shirts.
We're getting ready to have new hoodies out too. So message us about that if they're not up on the store yet.
Get and
you want one. It's going to go really nice with this, I promise.
These are really nice.
So, yeah, if you haven't finished your shopping, you're one of those last-minute shoppers, we got you covered.
We got you covered.
So, especially if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, we have a whole bunch of shows coming up. You can save on shipping and just come see a live SugarLimeBlue show while you're picking up your last-minute shopping.
Shipping is ridiculous nowadays.
Shipping's ridiculous. We're so sorry. We're doing actual cost onto you guys, and we apologize for it. It is maddening. It's just maddening. If we could just drive it around to you, we definitely would. So.
Yes. Maybe ask Santa. He'll bring it to you.
Yeah. Anyway, we will see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And if you haven't already, ring the bell for notifications on YouTube so it lets you know when we upload our videos so you can see them right as they're coming out. And we will see you on the Sunday shout out.
Are you done now?
Give me a sec. My leg hurts. What are you doing with your claws out, bro? Why?